So, as a apologise about the attempt of a microphone arm thingamajig.
It's alright, mate.
So we got Rev Chef Barbecue.
Yeah, that's
We're on Instagram. I did actually upload the picture on the story last night.
Yeah.
So anyone that is following, so I know we spoke a bit yesterday about like where you were obviously a chef before.
Yeah.
Bit of a backstory on.
Yeah, I've just been a chef all my life, really. 14, 15, started working in cafes.
Awesome.
I had kids when I was a young lad, 15, 16 when I had my first child, so I just went out to work in kitchens. I've been doing it ever since.
Righto. And then obviously like you're into your bikes as well.
Oh yeah.
So at what point did you think, going from working in cafes, and you said you worked in restaurants as well?
Yeah, that's
at
right.
At what point did you think, I want to merge both of them together?
I wanted to do it for a while, but I didn't have the guts to do it. So I think 2022, so just after lockdown really,
right.
I just took the plunge and said, you know what, we'll just go self-employed. So I went self-employed on the chef side of it. I said to my wife, I want to open my own business, catering business.
Yeah.
So I did. And that's BarnJam Barbecue's the result.
Wow. So, and obviously like this is now your second year doing it.
Yeah, properly.
Serious.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So we did about 15, 16 events last year. And then we've done probably got about 40 this year. That's including day events, stayovers, like 3 and 4 days events have just picked up. And like doing things like Halloween parties, and we do private parties, weddings, things like that. So.
Wow. And then obviously, because like I think I was speaking to someone earlier that mentioned that it's looking like you're going to be doing their wedding catering.
It's the guy.
Danger Signs. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, he was just inquiring. So
that's looking good as well. And then obviously, like, so you do private functions as well as like
weddings, divorce parties, wedding parties, anything.
And it generally seems to be like honest, like barbecue vibe with the start. Like, I mean, last night I had the mucky fries, and I had the burger. I mean, the fries were like, the burger was great, but like the fries was like different level again. Like,
it's like loaded fries, and obviously it's all on the top usually, and then by the time you vet it all, you've got nothing left on the bottom, so we try and mix it all the way through.
Yeah.
So we scored a mucky fries.
Dave's eating the pizza now. Yeah.
Oh yeah, cheeseburger pizza. Yeah, it's cheeseburger pizza. Yeah, that was
great. Oh, that's
amazing.
It's like you say, it's keeping that honest like street vibe to. But with the elegance of like actually knowing how to season things, and
exactly that, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it helps. Obviously, it's my trade.
Exactly.
We get good feedback. We had good feedback today. We get good feedback wherever we go. Really.
Yeah. I mean, like last night, you were like, the queue was.
Oh, mate.
Right.
That was it. Excuse the pun, but that was a grilling last night. Grilled last night. But
but it
was good. It's good for us.
So this morning, I was speaking to you last night. You had the ribs on slowly cooking away.
Yeah, low and slow.
On the low heat from last night.
Yeah.
And then obviously that got you prepped for breakfast today. So what's it like doing a big event? Like, are you used to that environment?
Yeah, we just prep up.
And I struggle to do a breakfast.
Yeah, we just get up at like 6, 7, go into the gazebo, clean it all down, prep up for breakfast, and then just crack on it.
Oh, that's cool.
It's like everything, when you've been doing it a long time, it's just become second nature.
Yeah.
So that's what it is with us. But it's hard work still, but we enjoy it. Like,
and obviously the fact that like there's no gas and electric there really. Like most of your equipment, like, you're doing it like barbecue. So
all over the coals.
Like,
the only thing that's gas is the pizza oven.
Yeah, but
I usually have a jacket oven.
Yeah,
gas. That's it. Yeah, it's just cold.
But again, like generally speaking, the stuff that mainly people are buying is stuff that's cooked on a barbecue.
Caveman style.
Do you know? That's what I mean.
Right, back to basics. Like before we had the electric, and before we had gas and stuff. You know what I mean? So.
And that's where I think that's where the future's going. Like, people are starting to appreciate more, because there is so much like with technology and fancy shit. There's a turn in it, I think. Everyone's having enough of that modern day, like quick, like fast food. Like, I mean, obviously yours it's still cooked on a faster rate than sitting in a restaurant waiting for a fancy, like but you to be able to bring both together. It's, do you know what I mean? So like you pick that burger up, like we said last night, like you can tell it's like a fucking proper quality burger.
Yeah, we try and get the restaurant quality with a bit of a street food vibe. Yeah, we have a laugh along the way as well.
Dave from Robert
Smashing burgers. They're great guys.
Yeah,
and everyone that's come to us is really nice. Yeah. So and that's what it's about, really.
Yeah. And then so obviously, what's the plan with the future? Just carry on as you are. You got plans to make things bigger, or
yeah? So I'm talking to a chef friend of mine's helping us out today, so we can get a bit of a break in and stuff. And we're just talking about splitting it off, so we can hit sort of 2 functions at once.
Okay.
So it's just buying more equipment and splitting it out, and I think we can do that next year because we're already getting there this year with being able to do that.
Yeah.
But next year I'll have the bodies.
Yeah.
And if we can't, then I've got the bodies to help us. So there's ways and means to do it, and it's just getting the chef. So I only have the chefs that I know in the chef circle.
That can do it to the same standard that you would be doing it yourself.
Rob, who does it with me, I've been his head chef 3 times when we're working in 4 people. He's a great guy. He knows what he's doing. He's a nice lad, and he always pushes 100%. So that's why I have people like Rob.
Yeah.
And Adam, who's helping us out today, is the same. He's been head chef and he went self-employed after COVID, and that's why I have people like that helping me out, so it keeps that
like-minded people standards as well.
Yeah, we all have a big. It's all about, but you've got to have a laugh. If you can't have a laugh, you don't enjoy your job. We love it.
Yeah.
So it looks like we don't when we're busy.
Well, right,
but we love it.
You're in it. It's like now, obviously the camera probably can't see, but there's people there stood waiting to get food, eating food.
That's right. They were coming right up until about 11:30 last night.
Yeah.
So,
well, I was just talking to you about that time, and you were turning people away and that. And obviously, you mentioned how you're looking to put a prep band together. So
I've got a trailer that I've got. I'm moving from another site, and we're just gonna. I've got a few lads that are gonna jump on that and get that out. And that's just a mobile kitchen where we'll be doing. We'll do the pizzas, the wings, and the ribs out of that, and the breakfast out of that.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's a prep kitchen.
Yeah.
And then I can concentrate more on like briskets and ribs and like more Americanized sort of. Yeah. Keep it street food.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, mate, I fucking love it. And obviously, being that we're all from the same culture, the bikes.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Custom culture, tattoos, it's the whole.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And also being able to kind of help each other and social media. It's a horrible game to play, but it helps.
That's it. I mean, I'll never be a spud man, but
no, we can never know. But you don't want to be. You're revving chef. You're
happy with what we do. We get like I said, we get good compliments, we get good comments, and we're different from a burger van.
That's what's cool. Which is like you said, the reason why you've not got a catering van per se, as in the conventional ones that you see on the street. You've gazebo, custom made front to it, the barbecues are on display. It's the whole honesty of what you're doing. And that's where even though it's food, I say in this world that the custom culture world, you can't take without giving.
That's it. Yeah.
When you take, it doesn't work. The world that we know as a custom world, as bike world, as whatever, we know that if you're in it for a fucking quick buck, you're not making that.
You're going to be there for long.
No one's going to appreciate you. Do you know what I mean?
It's always got to give back. We do a lot for charities, mate. Things like that. Same thing. It's all the bike culture and everything else, and all the people that you're around.
Yeah. But it's not. It's not just. When I say giving, I mean in respect of you could easily cheap out on burgers and chips. You could buy cheap burgers, you could buy shit chips. And profiteer more. But next year they won't want you back.
That's it.
Do you know what I mean? That's where I mean you can't take. We get money.
Proper butcher, so it all gets delivered and it all gets delivered fresh, and I'll freeze it down at home. Yeah. And then I'll bring it to me. We've got fridges in the back of the van and cool boxes and things. We keep it all. It's all fresh. We do all the stuff we have to do. Yeah. Temperature checks and stuff. Yeah. But it's all good. And like I said, it's working out really well. Well,
that's it. I mean, there's really since looking over 2 minutes
ago,
there's now more people now. So I mean, I'll let you. So anyone that wants to book an event with you, the best way to get hold of you will be
revinchefbarbecue.com is the website, or just email me on revinchefbarbecue@gmail.com.
Right. Can I get hold of you on? Because obviously a lot of people on social
TikTok,
media.
Facebook, it's Revin Chef Barbecue, or my personal one's
you on there as well. And...
WhatsApp. There's a button on it. Yeah. Takes you straight to WhatsApp, and then we can just do stuff like that.
That's awesome. That is awesome, mate. Thanks again for taking the time, man. I appreciate that.
I'll see you soon,
that's it. Turn the old microphone off. Is it working? I think it's working. It is? It is. So, for the people that are watching, I've got Matt from Danger Sign. Matt is a custom painter, well, a custom pinstriper.
Yeah.
So where did we start?
It all started, like I think it does for a lot of people, is watching Bike Build Off and American Hot Rod and stuff like that, seeing these old fellas come in who can look like they can't walk that far and then they lay a perfect line down something. Yeah, saw that, thought, oh man, I've got to go that.
So was that the bit that got you? Was it like the striping, or was it like the paint as well, or was you just fixated on like, shit, that looks extremely hard but so fucking cool?
Yeah, it's a bit of everything really. The challenge, and then it was the striping that I was amazed by the fact that someone could do something like that, and you're just drawing lines. It looks, yeah. It's
like we spoke earlier. Like it's the ability that how you guys can make it look so easy, and yet like I attempted to do that. Like I said earlier, like mate, I just masked it both sides and literally laid down some paint. But to see how you guys do it and the rawness of it, and because it's done by hand, and you can tell it's done by hand, but done so well. Like it's like. So, when did you start doing it? How, like,
I'm 7 years in, basically.
Not that long, then, really?
No, not really. No, I mean, a load of my mates got together and bought me a starter kit for my 30th birthday. I didn't actually do anything with it. I kind of picked it up and, it's not good enough, put it down again, like 5 minutes here and there. 7 years back, I decided, you know what? I've said I'm going to do this, so I'm going to do it. And it kind of all fell into place. I was in the right headspace, and it just worked. I kind of took to it, really, as is the only way I can describe it.
So, like, obviously, there's the learning side of physically doing it, but clearly, as like, obviously, you're the man behind the custom culture design, and obviously, like your artwork, like the pinstriping. Where did the inspiration come from for the artwork? Did you just literally naturally follow suit with the pinstripers, or because like this is very tattoo, Ed Roth.
Yeah, it's everything.
Like, not a rap thing, you know, like...
I can't remember a time where I haven't drawn. So basically from when I was really, really young, I can't remember not drawing in my spare time.
Right.
So, and it's just the custom culture side of it, the hot rods, the bikes, the artwork, the tattooing, it all kind of goes in and comes out of my head in some way. It's awesome. I love all this stuff. So it's any way I can get what's in my mind onto paper, or onto swords, or onto my own body. I mean, it's
so a lot of stuff's like your designs on your tattoos as well, and then you're like, so did you take? So you naturally, because a lot of it clearly very American style, Americana. Like, it's cool as hell. Like, obviously, again, like to be fair, I have actually got it up on the page anyway.
Oh, cool.
I've shared the post. I did print some out. But no, I mean it's cool as hell, and like just watching it. Like I filmed you earlier, that video that I'm going to put together, and it's so fluid. Like the fluidity of it. Like, did you find it easy? Pick up.
I possibly found it easier than most, just because of the eye-hand coordination always having drawn.
Right.
But it was a learning process. The thing about pinstriping is there's so much before you actually pull a line. There's paint consistency, finding the right brush for you, stuff like that. And so the way people should start is get a piece of glass, pull line after line after line, wipe it off, do it again, keep doing that for months, right? Possibly even a couple of years. I kind of did it ass backwards, and I just started doing what I thought were cool designs. Right. Almost shot myself in the foot, but because I think I was able to do the lines fairly quickly, it kind of worked, but I wouldn't recommend doing it the way I did it, because I made it hard for myself, definitely.
Yeah.
And also, you do a lot of things, and you think they're terrible and wipe them off, and I'm trying to be better, but I started off as one of those people, if I don't like something, I wipe it off and start again. You've got to embrace the fact that it's not perfect. So it's like you say, the hand-drawn effect, the hand-painted effect of it. So I've always said, if you make a mistake on one side of a symmetrical design, deal with it and make the other side match.
Yeah.
It's
and like I do with tattooing.
Exactly.
Like, only the other day when I did Star Wars emblem, one of the lines, I literally, the way I come round, like, contouring my wrist. Naturally, my wrist started pulling off direct. And you probably experienced that with following lines. And you know, sometimes you aren't able to move the arm around to carry on. So you have to, and that's you work with it. Yeah. Like it's like we was talking about like last night and today, like due to the fact it's so easy to technology's enabled being able to print stuff straight onto paint almost now. Yeah, that's great for people that can't afford handmade stuff. But the plus side is the people that are in a position that appreciate it, they're coming round more, and like you might have maybe less work due to the financial sort of way the world is. But you know that the people you're actually dealing with are genuinely wanting their work done. They've come to you, they've farmed you out, they've found you. So yeah, you know what I mean? Like we spoke about, like there might be less customers maybe from before the financial way the world is. Yeah. But now you've got more serious people.
This is it. Yeah. I mean, it's people who want this kind of work, like with your tattooing or custom bike work, is they know they need to spend the money. Yeah. So it's if I always use the phrase reassuringly expensive. If someone comes to me and says, "Oh, I want a tank doing," and I say 50 quid, they're going to go, "Hang on a minute, it's no good." Same as if someone said, "Oh, I want a full sleeve," and you say, "Oh yeah, I charge 150 quid a day." There's no such thing as a cheap tattooist. There's no such thing as a cheap painter, and there shouldn't be.
No, and that's exactly it. It's like I've always said, like if you can walk into a studio and book a full day in for today or tomorrow, there's a question that needs answering.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's. I think personally, in the tattoo world, for example, my opinion, 3 months. I don't think book anyone over 3 months. Be realistic. You know, people don't want to wait more than 3 months. I mean, how's like your time scale? Is it like so if someone came to you, depending on work or?
Yeah, it is probably a couple of months. I mean, especially in summer, because I did a car show in Lincoln a couple of weeks back. I've got a couple of weeks. Well, I haven't got 2 weekends off. I'm doing a hot rod next weekend. I'm doing a low rider the weekend after, and then I'm into 5 shows on the bounce. And it keeps going. It's about end of September. I'll take a breath.
And this is what's so cool. Like I was talking about, like how we know Steve from Black Sheep Customs, like because you guys are doing it every day. Like the way you say I've got a low rider hot rod, like to you that's normal, but like to people like me, it's like wow.
It still doesn't feel normal to
really?
say.
That's incredible.
It's the show I did a couple of weeks back. It was about 6 o'clock on Saturday. I've been doing bits of work, and I'd gone with a mate, so we were chatting. I'm doing a bit of painting. Someone turned up on a low rider bike, said, "Oh, I'll leave it with you, want some lettering." Came back in his notes, low rider, they wanted something. And I ended up with 3 low riders and a bike in front of my store, and I'm kind of stood there thinking, if you said 7 years back, I'd have all this cool stuff to work
so
on.
Cool, man.
And the way I think about it, I get to work on this stuff. It's a privilege to me. Yeah. I get to put something of mine on things that I find amazing.
Yeah. And I feel the same about tattooing, and I wonder, like, because you feel so privileged, do you turn away stuff that you don't feel really that you could justify doing that, or like, as in that's not your style, so you would sooner not?
What I tend to do is, because I do tend to, if someone wants a certain style, I'll go off and figure out if I can do it, and then I'll come back to it. The main problem with pinstriping is if you're at car shows, like I got talking to someone from Bristol. I said, look, it's not worth your money for me to charge, because I've got to charge mileage at that kind of distance. But we're a bit of a family, the pinstripers, so I knew to recommend someone who I know down in Berkshire. Yeah. And said, look, I know someone, he's really good, he's a lot closer to you, so it'll cost you a lot less. Yeah. So I never really turn away work unless I think something, because like someone asked me for something and what they wanted would have been better done with vinyl, because they didn't want it really for a long time. Yeah. I was saying to them, look, I can either charge you a fair amount of money, because it was just a stripe around the van. It's like, I only want it for 6 months. Well, it's going to cost you a bit of money, so maybe do this and see if you like it, see if you want to stick with it permanently.
And this is something like I've been saying a lot in my podcast and like in the community, is like the fact is, like, you simply aren't taking without giving, and your giving would be in the respect, and maybe I'm wrong the way I say it, but by not taking that work from someone, you're giving back to the culture. You're not ripping off from the culture. You're not just lying in your pockets. You're being honest. You're being like, because you're equally as passionate as like most of us that really are in the culture. Truly, we are. You know, we're not about I need to charge that person for that and do that. And and like adding up the hours you probably do, the jobs would probably cost triple the amount you're actually charging.
They might do, yeah, and it's getting carried away as well. It's like someone will say, "Oh, go mad," and it's not really what you want to say to me, because I will.
Give me an open check, mate.
Yeah.
You know,
but I will work to people. On the flip side, I'll work to people's budgets. If they say, "I want to spend this much," I'll give them that much amount of work, and I'll make sure they know that's what they're getting. It's like, I never want to have this reputation of ripping anyone off, and also, when you're in the moment, you perhaps end up doing a bit more than you should. But that's my problem. That's not their
absolutely. And obviously, like, by being generally humble and honest about things, like obviously we were talking earlier off air, like you're responsible for farming, for getting the lads together, for pinstriping for the custom culture show. You've ended up being the guy that's done all the design work and artwork. And at the end of the day, you wouldn't have been able to do that from not being a genuine respecting the culture and balance. It's about balance, isn't it? It's like, but no, it's incredible what you're doing, and I mean, obviously I got that. I say once I upload that video, I tag you in it, like to be able to, because we all see like custom painted swords and things like that on Instagram, but like to actually stand in a booth and see them all on the walls, it's like fucking hell, that's cool as fuck, you know.
It's amazing to think that people think of me like that when I got into it, thinking of other people like that. Like, I've met some of my absolute heroes.
Wow.
Neil Melliard from ProSign from down south. I grew up reading Volksworld magazine with his work in it. Every awesome car had his work in it. And he came to my booth and was complimenting me.
And you're like, what?
You're almost tearing up because you're thinking, man,
I know.
And he's saying to me, I'm just a painter like you, so you're not a painter like me.
They don't understand how they've shaped. Like, I interviewed a guy I interviewed Big Truth from Chopperhead, the Big Truth podcast, and we were talking about Indian Larry. And like, he puts the camera around and he's like, there's one of Larry's bikes. And I'm like, obviously being like an 11-year-old kid watching Discovery Channel, seeing Indian Larry on Biker Build Off, so then obviously unfortunately he passed away, so we're never going to get to meet him. If you've been lucky, great, that's incredible. But like, to know that but I get excited of knowing that I'm talking to someone that owns one of his bikes. Talking to someone that spoke to him, you know. And that's not the fly. I interviewed another guy, Terry from Lethal Threat, who makes clothing, and like he helped push one of. I mean, his shop is in the Bronx. You know, he goes to the yard party every year, and he knew Larry, like, you know, and he was like telling me like how he was talking to him, helping push a bike into a show, and it's like. These guys just say normally it's like fuck, like wow, you know, like
meeting these true legends, and Larry was. I mean, I like bikes. I've never had my bike license. It's not something I think I'd ever. I come from a generation where my mum said, if you get a bike, you don't really live here anymore.
Right,
so it never really happened for me.
So that's how you ended up into the
I got more into four wheels. It's like the campers,
the bug scene, and
It started off with Volkswagens. Now it's all sorts, hot rods and whatever I can get my hands on. Like I say,
are you doing a lot of custom work on bikes?
I do custom work on bikes. Yeah, it's always horrible when you get that phone call when they've laid the bike down. Though I got one off the mate, and I did some work I was really proud of. He loved it. He phoned me and said, "Oh man, I stuffed the bike under a delivery truck."
No.
So, oh man, you all right? Oh yeah, I broke my ankle, but I saved the tank. So I'm not entirely sure whether he put himself underneath the bike to
save his tank. When my mate did the paintwork on my ZX10, it's like we did it like so we did like the clean film method on wet paint effect, and ended up being 40 coats of paint to most of it's lacquer to hide, you know, because you can't flatten the surface. And he was like, don't drop it, and if you do, don't come anywhere near me. I'm not interested.
Stick a sticker on it.
Right, go away, you know. I was like, right. So like, trying to convince him to do that one, he's like, Josh, I'm retired. I'm not doing paint. I'm not doing paint anymore. And I'm like, yeah, but you've still got all your equipment. And he's like, I'm not doing it, like, because already I'm like trying to convince him of doing a half patinaed wrap rod style flame, have it torn like a torn effect, like I got on my ZX10. Cool. And then the bare metal side, I want to do like sketched flames. And he's like, no. And I'm like, yeah, but. And he's like, no. Because he knows.
You'll get him, keep wearing it.
I'm just like, and he's like, but yeah, no, it's, hey, thank you very much for taking the time.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. And obviously, people want to get hold of you. Best way to find you?
Best way to find me is Instagram. It's danger_sign on Instagram. Or just put in danger sign and I'll come up because it's...
Next event to find you at?
Next event to find me at will be VW Festival in Leeds at Harewood House. Awesome. That is second weekend of next month.
Of August. And then obviously like you're the main man behind the art side of the Custom Culture Blast Off. That's at the same venue we're at now.
Yes, fantastic venue, fantastic show. It's going to be, we're bringing it back to what it was. It's going to be, we're all passionate about it. It took a bit of a dive, became a car show, became a music show, and it's going to be what it was. It's an art show with some bikes and cars. It's tattoos, it's burlesque, it's sign writing, pinstriping, airbrushing, body painting. It's all about the art. Yeah. So,
absolutely.
Come along. It's going to be an amazing
show. And that's
show.
it. Like, obviously, Jake, who's running the backwards BarnJam, he obviously took on the name and like pushed it forward, and obviously managed to work with you on the art side of things, especially. And obviously, that's what's great about social networking, right? You know, like obviously I mentioned Black Sheep to him, like we spoke about off air, and I think Steve's got something going on with the club that hit the card.
Oh that's it. We're all coming together,
and that's it.
We love the lifestyle, we love the art, and we love the cars, the bikes, everything. It's and it's almost like a homage to the couple that originally ran it, to Chris and Linda. It's we're naming the pinstripe, the panel jam for Chris, and they were all about it. It was the passion, and that's what we've got. That's what we want to carry on.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. Right, so I think we'll I'll turn this off.
Nice one.
Well, we'll point it at the camera after. So, obviously, we're back with BarnJam, and obviously, it's for an amazing cause for what you guys do. So, just for people that aren't aware of Care After Combat, naturally, we understand that it's a charity for combat. But where did it all start, and why did it all? What was going on for that to bit of an insight into that if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. So 10 years ago, actually, 2014, there was a UK government report out that identified ex-armed forces personnel as the single largest occupational group within UK prisons.
Wow.
But yeah, which was a bit of a surprise. And what that same report also identified was there was little or no support, or veteran-specific support, for those guys that are in custody. So the charity was born. It was set up by Jim Davidson, the comedian who does a lot with forces, but also Simon Weston, who's a Falklands veteran, Goose Cryer, who's still our president, ex-Special Forces, and a Navy guy, Smoky Call. So the four of them set Care After Combat. And the premise, it was built around peer mentorship. So there's nobody understands somebody who served more than somebody who served.
Exactly.
So it's that peer mentorship, you know.
Yeah.
So we got volunteer mentors, a few staff set up initially, and then started going into prisons and working with the guys to firstly engage with them, because they are hard to reach, you know.
Yeah.
Again, there's nobody is probably less willing to come forward and declare they might have a problem than a veteran.
But they've been taught to fear no man, feel no pain, and take people out and do everything that they've been trained to do. It's fully understandable that they're dumped, and this is nothing new. You know, I'm gonna say, sorry to kind of like take, but like we go on we'll simply go on Hell's Angels alone. How many people have a bad opinion on the Hells Angels, not simply understanding where they originated? They were a squadron called the Hells Angels. They were put into war, taught how to kill, and then dumped on the street back in the day. And you know how many people don't even understand that that's where they fundamentally. They're a group of brothers, and they're taught to be brothers. That had the bikes that was left over from the war, and left broken men. So they all of a sudden got this image of being hooligans and things. Well, they weren't hooligans. They were similar. They were like the people that you guys have been able to go in and help. They didn't have that back then. They formed their own brotherhood, you know, and it's just nothing new. And it's crazy how many people simply aren't aware of what's going on, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, you know, I got to emphasize that most people that leave the military do so, you know, pretty well. And but for a few people, it's tough. That transition back to civilian life, it is tough, because you mentioned the word family there. You know, that's exactly what the forces is. It's your everything. You know, it becomes your life, and to leave that is a difficult thing. And so for guys, particularly if it wasn't their choice to leave, you know, they might have been kicked out for whatever reason, and you know, for a subset of those that struggle, a lot of mental health issues with the guys we support. You know, some end up with you know, involved with the justice system. So that's where we're coming. We've got our peer mentorship scheme, and it works really well. You know, it's basically working with them whilst they're in prison to prepare for that release and reintegration into society. So we'll look at everything they need. You know, it's individual needs based, obviously, but the ones are obviously employment, finance, that kind of thing, depending on what their situation is when they come out. Because in terms of, you know, probation license or whatever it is, we work with them to get them in the best possible place.
You generally work with the people that have unfortunately ended up in prison, or military in general? Is it?
No, it's military specific.
No,
absolutely.
sorry. I mean, so military people that have only gone into prison, or military people that are generally struggling, whether they've been in prison or not?
No, we're specifically in the justice system.
Right,
so we can be in the community still. But, you know, it's they've got to have that involvement with the justice system, and that's where our specialist knowledge is. So we've got our mentors, we've got our say peer mentors. Most of us are veterans ourselves, or have got close association with the military, but we also have a close link with the NHS as well, from a mental health perspective. So and with other charities, you know. At the end of the day, there's lots of support out there, but the guys that are struggling don't necessarily always know where to go. And so they can come to us and we can work with them, get whoever we need involved for the benefit of that person, because it's about the health and well-being, because ultimately, if you get that right when they're released from prison, let's say, if the health and well-being is right, then highly likely they won't reoffend and they won't go back to prison.
So what do you feel that the government are failing on? Like, obviously, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole of going straight in and attacking it, but like fundamentally, what is the key? Like, where are they going wrong? Like, what is it that you feel that could be improved on before they have to come to you guys to keep them out?
Yeah, certainly the transition from the military, there could be a lot more done there. To be fair to the MOD, more has been done in recent years. But you got to think about the cohort we're dealing with left a little time ago. Yeah. So they were still in that era where it wasn't great, the transition out of the military, and there's still more could be done. We constantly talk about this. So I think what you're touching on is the prevention rather than the cure, isn't it?
Kind of like helping them before they end up down that lost road.
Yeah. I think there's a phrase the other day we were talking about. You're taught how to join the military through your basic training and all your subsequent training. You're taught how to be a soldier, sailor, airman. Nobody teaches you how to be a civilian, human being after the military
fundamentally,
service.
Are you ex-military?
Yeah, I'm ex-Royal Navy.
Obviously, so fundamentally, you guys aren't taught to be normal humans. You are taught to be a different, like you're pushed to extremes physically, mentally, visually. The things you see are, it's. And then you're running, like you say, you don't expect it just to pick up. Like, it's such a shame, like, to see that side of it. And, like, we know it's happening. Like, normal civilians like me that have never been in the military, like, I work, one of my colleague where I work in engineering, he's ex-military, and, like, he doesn't go into too much things and that, but, like, he says, like, it's some of the stuff you see. Like, it's crazy. It's, like you say, and then they're just expected to be civil and like behave themselves.
Yeah, it is a different life in the military, and you are exposed to things that those who aren't in the military aren't expected to be exposed to, and it can really take its toll. Especially, we've had a lot of combat operations in the last 2, 3, 4 decades, and we're seeing, the result of that. So, not the guys we deal with, not everybody, their trauma is not always purely down to the military. No. It could be down to early life experiences. It could be that and military experience, and it can be very complex. So that's where a specialist knowledge is required. So somebody who served is a different person to somebody who hasn't served, and there'll be different triggers, with mental health issues or whatever, and we understand that, and then we work with other people that might support those veterans to educate them as well as to why a veteran might respond differently to an environment, to a situation, and how to deal with that. So we are different beasts.
No, it's incredible what you're doing, and obviously, like, as people can see, like, you're clearly wearing a BMW, like jacket and
Rocket Aslan Racing,
like Rocket Ron, and like obviously, and it's awesome. Like, it's you into bikes? Or?
Yeah, I'm a biker. I've been biking many years, but yeah, we got that link with Rocket Aslan Racing, and it's fantastic they support us as well, and loads of military are bikers as well. It's a natural affinity for us, so really strong, and to be part of the back with BarnJam as well is phenomenal. Jake and Grok came to us year before last, and so we got involved last year for the first time. This year's bigger and better again. It's just an amazing vibe here, isn't
like
it?
you say, especially in the chaotic world we live in, the fact that you can come into these woods and disconnect.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, where else do you see a fire and people just sat chilling and
like safe space?
You know what I mean? It's like, especially in the chaos that's going on in the world, it's and this is like kind of like where, like, speaking to you off air, like that's where like with what I'm trying to do. It's social media is great if it's used correctly, like, but on the other hand, like, you've got people glorifying things. It's like, I believe that whether you are just simply learning to weld for the first time, you have equal right in the custom world. You have equal you deserve the equal light on you. For your moment is equally respected as well as a pro builder. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of what I wanted to do. Like, that's why I got a tank there. That's pigeon muck all over it. That's what for Worlds. But I don't care. I'm not claiming to be a welder. I'm claiming to be a dude that's having a go.
Having a go, mate. That's the main thing.
You know, learning how to engrave. It's not finished, but I'm learning how to engrave.
That's good. Good on you.
And if I can inspire other people to do the same, you know, and at the end of the day, as we all know, motorcycles, bikes, cars, anything custom is not cheap. Okay. So another thing for me is that's an expensive addiction, which means that you're less likely to end up on a naughty addiction. You know, and like, you know, it's like you said, obviously, unfortunately, like ex-military again, like you can walk into a shop and buy a bottle of alcohol and it ruins people's lives. You know, and obviously they're drinking for various reasons, but unfortunately some of your people that you've worked with probably have made silly mistakes just under the influence that's triggered an emotion, you know, and it's like, so even this world, even like somewhat apart, you get someone addicted to customizing things, more likely won't have the chance to get drunk and make silly decisions. I'm not saying, do you know what I mean? Like,
no, I get what you're saying, and it's you're right. Sort of alcohol, drugs. For a lot of our guys, it's self-medicating, you know, to deal with some mental health or other stresses and anxieties. You know, it's readily available, and that's the thing. It's
and especially drink,
and it can lead to some situations, as you say. It's and I'll always say this: is, you know, I served for 29 years and stayed out of trouble.
Wouldn't have been easy.
No, but you know, it could have gone a different way. You know, there's certainly a couple of points in my career where I could probably identify, or in my life anyway, where a slightly different decision or a slightly different action would have resulted in me needing the help of go after combat.
Now helping with.
Exactly. So, and I think most people who've served recognise that, and that's why I say when you're doing the peer mentorship scheme, it's not just the fact that you can talk the same language. It's because you've got shared lived experience, and you understand.
Because it is literally,
you know,
it literally is a different language. And the reason I know that is talking to my colleagues sometimes at work, he'll say something and I'm like, what does that even mean? And then like literally he'll go on about like, and then he'll sit down and go, well, this means like, and we're on about logo badges. And he comes at words that you would understand, like terminology or something. And I'm like, mate, but I'm openly honest. I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying. Like, and he'll sit down and go, well, that means that. And when I've, you know, he was a para, jumping out planes, and he was explaining on like, because I asked him, I was like, what was like your proudest moment? And he said, earning his wings. He said, but even though what came after was technically way harder to achieve. I'm not even going to attempt, because I don't know what I'm really on about, but you probably understand. But he said like the bits after it were harder, but yet that was the proudest bit, which was the easier bit. And it's like, you know, all these terminologies, and it's incredible.
Yeah, you say we talk the same language, so even if it's, you know, Navy versus Army versus RAF, it doesn't matter, because you all come to the sort of the top level. You're all in the military, and you can find common ground within seconds. It's bizarre. Like, you'll be chatting to somebody who's ex whatever, and you go, oh, do you know so and so? And like within, you know, where did you serve and all this? And within seconds you can narrow down to somebody. Even if you've never met each other before, you'll probably know the same person somewhere.
So it's crazy. It's like I had nothing to do with military, but I worked in Gibraltar for 3 years. So like I used to see all the lads running down the main street 7 a.m. You know, and then
running up the rock.
Running up.
I've done the rock race twice.
Well, I worked in New Harbours, you know, in the harbour where the dry docks are. So like, and then obviously being that a lot of guys end up retiring there, and so I knew a few of the lads that are retired, and I knew a few Patriots from Patriots MC, being that they lived in Gib, you know. So I knew a few people. I don't know anything about the military itself, but like, it's surprising how many people, like you said, there's a lot of people out there that are either serving or finished serving, or, you know, and you guys, you get around the world. You know, you don't just retire in the UK and like all the way through. But no, it's incredible what you guys are doing, and it needs to be more aware of. Like, I'd actually mentioned to my colleague, I said, have you heard of these guys? And he was like, vaguely, like,
Yeah.
so
we are still, I mean, believe it or not, 10 years in, we're still a relatively new charity.
Yeah.
You know, there's the big military charities everybody knows about, like Royal British Legion and
Yeah.
SAFA and all that stuff, have been running for, you know, a
Yeah.
long time. So we are still relatively new. It's only in the last sort of 3-4 years that we've really expanded our coverage. So we're now covering all of England and Wales, and we're about to, hopefully, about to move into services into Scotland as well. So we are still, and we hear it all the time. People go, I've never heard of Care After Combat. So, you know, if for your listeners, if the website's easy, it's careaftercombat.org. Go and have a look. We're always looking for people to sort of support us in any way. You know, if you're interested in volunteering, give us a shout. There's an application page on the website.
I shared a picture last night on Instagram, and I found that you guys were on Instagram. There seems to be 2 Instagram. One that finishes in .nw. I'm guessing
that's not us then.
That, but the other one was you guys.
Yeah, because we're a charity, so it's
so I found the other one. Both have the same. There was 2 logos, but the other one just says Care After Combat as the Instagram. And I did tag you guys. So obviously, I'm mainly based on social media at the moment, and so you know, so I'll try and share as much as I can. And
that's great.
You know, it's just great to just be able to stand here and talk. And yeah.
No, thanks for the chance, mate.
No, thank you, mate. I'll turn that off. Oh yeah. It is.
Yeah.
We're here for round 3.
Round 3.
Round 3. So last time we didn't know who was on. We didn't know what was going on. I just caught you after work, or you were after work. And how's it going?
Really well, really well. To be honest with you, it's gone above expectations, and the layout has been bang on, and everyone's just where that it's all just really fit nicely. It's like there's even a few little spaces left, so it's all well organised. All well organised.
Yeah, I think like obviously like we spoke about tonight, like to be able to get in the crazy world we're living in, to be able to disconnect from the bullshit, find a space to have something that's not like. That's not you know what I mean. It just has something simple about it, like but effective and obviously it just works, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think someone summed it up perfectly the other day. Like they said last night, they said they were like trying to there's all sorts of people here. Like there's bikers, there's non-bikers, and someone was like, yeah, but it's just people that want to escape.
Yeah,
they're here for a weekend of escape.
Absolutely. You know, like literally, I was telling Dave yesterday. I said like if you put it on paper, it doesn't have anything. It doesn't belong to anything. It's not a music festival. It's not a bike festival. It's not a archery biking thing. But it's everything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like it's its own thing. Because everything they say, tattoo convention, bike show, blah 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 blah. Everything falls into its own category. But this is like it's everything and it's its own thing.
Yeah, it's hard to quantify.
Do you know what I mean?
It's hard to put it into words. It's like sometimes that's why I get a little bit stuck because it's like what is the BarnJam? And it's like I'm like, what is the BarnJam? Like is it? It's like a bike festival.
Yeah.
There's all the traders and the food, and it's a bit of an ale and cider festival because we have all of our locally brewed ales and ciders. So I mean, it's multiple festivals in one festival.
Yeah.
And it really comes from me being like at other festivals and getting bored of walking around. Like you'll walk around and you'll blitz it in about 5 minutes. You look at all the stalls and then you're like, well, no. But with this, it's like, there's always something to grab your eye. There's always something to grab your attention. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then it's like, once you've done down there, you end up going up there and you're walking around up there and sort of seeing the axe throwing, and, the archery and stuff.
Exactly.
So.
And obviously, I haven't even ventured down there, but like it's like you see loads of people going down there, and then obviously, it's just got everything, isn't it? It's just...
and so many more ideas. More ideas and more stuff to do with not many more people. I think it's like once you're here, you understand. But I think if you try to beat the arse out of it and get like thousands of people in, it'd just be like you'd overdo it, you'd overcook it. And
then it probably wouldn't work.
No,
it's like I bet if you went back and if you were able to get like the most iconic events in the world and be able to sit down with the original people that founded it, and they probably spoke exactly the same way you did. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like I was talking to like your partner last night about it. It's like it has so much potential to get even bigger, and she said the same. Like you want to keep it low, and I was like, but then don't you feel like you're like denying other people's experience?
That's what custom culture's for.
Do you know exactly?
Yeah. So my idea is to have a few little festivals up here a year, and then also have like the big festival, like the custom culture. So when we're using all the land and extra land over there and all that sort of stuff, and it's like that's when we'll get big amounts of people here. But this is starting to turn into a community. Facebook group, everyone's starting to know each other. Friends are looking forward to using this as a meet up because they haven't seen each other since last year. So they're like, oh, hey up, mate, and, all that stuff. So no, it's I never thought in a million years that like people would be like booking time off work and talking about it, and it becoming sort of like its own thing. You know what I mean?
So, exactly. It's like you say, it's that balance, isn't it? It's that you've been able to find that balance and not overdo it and not underdo it, and like. And then, like we spoke about originally on the first podcast, like to be able to have people getting pissed up next to a lake and be able to legally pull that off. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like that's like where people behind us, like no one sees that. Like it can, you know what I mean? It's
my biggest advice to anyone that's doing their own festivals and stuff is rely on the ambulance service. So get yourself first aiders that are like a company, like a St. John's ambulance or whatever like that, because they are a godsend. When you've got numbers over a certain amount, you can't just be like, oh, my mate knows first aid, he'll be all right. Because we've had situations this weekend that we needed trained paramedics for to go in. Like you know, like some woman up there, she's tripped over a tent and she's like bust a knee. So it's like, you know, we'll you know, it's like you need people there that can handle that stuff.
Yeah.
We've got a good security team
Yeah.
that are like, you know, they're relaxed, but they're also like, you know, they're looking, they're vigilant, and they're there to make sure everyone's safe and having a good time. So, you know, it's relying on other contractors and being able to manage your own events and stuff. And obviously, that's why a lot of festivals are crashing right now, is because they're trying to get the infrastructure in, but they're not making any money. So the numbers aren't adding up. Do you know what I mean? But fortunately, do you know what I mean? With the setup that we're in right now, we managed to have a good festival. It makes a decent bit of money for the charity. And we're also able to, like, you know, keep it going and keep doing this every year, and also build on it and, you know, reinvest the money that we make.
Yeah, and it's like I say, obviously, I've spoken to a few people that this is their 3rd year, quite a few people that it's their 2nd year, and you know, to be fair, most people it is more that it's not their 1st year. Like, you know, it's you know, some people are like, oh, I got so far I got the hot year and I got this year, or I've had the hot year, the wet year, and this year. You know, it's like obviously it's created its own.
The memories. And, I mean, I think we've got away with it pretty well with the weather. No, we've had a bit of light rain.
We've been lucky.
I mean, you know, it's like that's nothing.
Yeah.
Compared to what it could be, like, you know, if it was just downpouring, it'd be like miserable.
Yeah.
But with it, you know, with a bit of light rain, everyone's just like too busy.
No, exactly.
You know,
Exactly. It has been awesome, and obviously, like this afternoon, me and you, we're gonna go have a look at some bikes when you got spare 5 minutes.
Well, I was gonna say we'll go after this, mate. We'll go pick the best bike.
Yeah, we'll go around and have a look, and then obviously you got the beard one as well, and the axe. That's already got the winner. Has it?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So that's going to be getting handed out later, and 200 quid as well for the best bike. So someone's about to be have a good weekend.
Better off. Yeah.
You know, and obviously, you know, yourself.
We'd like say obviously, courtesy of Nordic Ink, like we're giving away a full day to the winner. Is it? Are you doing a top 3, or is it just a best bike?
I think we'll have to go have a look.
Yeah, I think
there might be that one.
We are.
That's like that's the winner.
Yeah.
But we might have a bit of a split. In which case, we're going to get them up, and we're going to see who the crowd likes the best.
Yeah, that'll do.
And then you know, and the winner's going to win some decent money. That's the whole weekend.
Yeah, really, you think like not only have they got 200 quid to put in a car to travel over to the studio that I work in, they're getting a full day tattooing.
Yeah, like, exactly. Win-win. Yeah.
Awesome.
I barely even win a 5 scratch card.
Mate,
so.
same here, mate. It's but no, it's like I say, thanks again for letting me come here and.
No, awesome. It's been great. No, you've been chatting away, you know. It's been awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I've had I'm terrible with names.
Adrian
so,
from Care After
yeah, I've had Adrian up. We're talking about obviously where it all started, like, and obviously it's cool to see him wearing a BMW Rocket Run hoodie with the sponsor on the side and getting insight into what they're doing. And you know, it's like I say, it's unfortunate that they've ended up left in a position where they've lost themselves, turned to crime, unfortunately ended up in prison. You know, it is such a shame. But I think we spoke before, like, this is nothing new. You know, it's like we don't dive into the MC world so much, but let's not forget that Hell's Angels alone, which everyone knows of, were founded off Air Squadron, where they were trained to kill, trained to do what they had to do, and then dumped at the end of a war. And they had the bikes that were just chucked about from the war. You know, they were riding around WLAs, and you know,
it's a need to feel like you belong.
Yeah,
and it's the brotherhood.
Yeah,
we managed to do it here, where it's like you don't need to be a biker to feel like you belong.
No, exactly.
You know what I mean? And I think that right there is why it's so successful.
Yeah,
because you have normal 9-to-5 dudes that don't ride bikes, but they're coming here and they're experiencing it, and it's like they're no different than you know, your hardened riders out there that have been riding for years. You know what I mean? It's like
I mean, like you say, you got, you know, someone in the background just jumped up on a 125. You know, the fact that they feel comfortable being on a 125 and, you know, like, not feeling intimidated that there are bigger bikes out there, and they're clearly comfortable, and that's what it's about, isn't it? It's, like you say, it's
where's he ridden from? Probably further than most people would ride on their big, like, you know what I mean, their big thousands.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like, and that's it. You know,
I remember my 125, mate. I used to ride that everywhere.
Yeah.
You turn into a pussy.
I got bits of it
here.
There's my 125 engine. It's like, you know, that's it. It's great, mate. I'll turn this off, mate. I'll turn that off, and we'll go around and
awesome, dude.
Have a look at some
nice one.
Have a look at some bikes.
Awesome.